If you want to play PvP, you need to get the best gear possible. In this video, I'll show you where to find all the loot and blueprints you need in the game. Hello Dodo Crew and welcome back to another video on ARK Survival Ascended. Grab a bottle of water and let's get straight into it. I took all the data from ARK Survival Ascended and analyzed it in detail. During that process, I came across the configuration file for all the loot drops you can find in the game. And I figured out how to get into the data and how each of the beacons work and what loot is inside of them. To save you time in the future and so you can search the right beacons, I'm making this video so that by the end you'll know exactly where each piece of loot can be found. If you want to use the data I collected on your own, I added the link to the tool I created, with which you can simply find all the loot you're looking for in the video description. As an alternative, you can use the QR code on screen. Just open the website, enter the name of the item you're looking for, and it will show you where to get what you're looking for. In ARK, there are different types of tiers of loot drops. All of these drops are generally divided into following tiers: white, green, blue, purple, yellow and red. In addition, there is a bonus variant for each of these regular beacons that contains extra loot. This version doesn't have better loot because it's still in the same tier, but it usually drops 1 or 2 additional items. Apart from that, in addition to the overworld beacons, there are certain types of beacons that can only be found in specific areas or in a specific way. Those examples include cave, desert and deep sea loot crates and certain additional mechanics such as dragon hoards or treasure chests. Each beacon has different item sets and it depends on the type of the beacon and the map which item sets are included. Each beacon has a minimum number of item sets and a maximum number that can drop at the same time in a single opening. There are mechanics, for example the Luropleurodon and the Drakeling, that can affect this mechanic and for instance add an additional item. This is referred to as having an additional roll. Additionally, each item set has a weight that defines the chance of it dropping, meaning not every item set is equally treated within a beacon. Some item sets can also overlap, which makes it incredibly difficult to reliably calculate the drop chance of individual items. Each item set contains different items and determines how many of those items drop at a time. Higher tier beacons usually also drop lower tier loot, but of higher quality. So not only does the loot improve with better beacons, but the quality does as well. Starting off with armor, we're looking for the best locations to get Ascendant quality Flak and Tek Armor. Flak Armor and blueprints drop on basically every map, starting with the island up to Lost Colony and Astraeus. You can find them in regular beacons all the way up to cave and underwater crates. In addition, you can get Flak from bosses like the Titans or the Astraeus mini bosses. But if you actually want good ones, don't waste time on low tier drops. Focus on red drops, caves and deep sea crates on maps like the Island, Aberration and Astraeus. Those are by far your best chance at getting high quality Flak. Tek Armor and blueprints are different from most gear, since you won't find them in regular drops. Instead, they mainly come from boss fights including all Titans, as well as special loot like dragon hoards. So if you're looking for Tek Armor, your focus should be on farming bosses, not supply crates. Hazard suits and blueprints can only be found on Aberration. You can get them from purple, yellow and even red drops, including surface drops and cave loot. If you want the best hazard suit, focus on high tier drops and surface beacons, since those give you the best chance for good quality loot. Mini bosses on Astraeus can also drop them, but your main farming method will still be Aberration drops. Gportal is a game server hosting provider where you can rent your own servers to play multiplayer games with your friends. They support over 100 games, including titles like ARK Survival Evolved, Rust and Minecraft. Setting up a server is super simple. You can get started in just 2 clicks, add mods easily and rely on their premium support if you run into any issues. For the best performance, you can customize your server size and location or let Gportal automatically recommend the best setup for you. If you use the link in my description or scan the QR code on screen, you'll get 10% off your server. You can even combine my code with their ongoing promotions to save even more at gportal.com. Next, we're hopping into weapons. Tek rifles do not appear in regular drops, just like Tek Armor. They are mainly obtained in boss fights, including all titans, as well as from special loot like dragon hordes. If you want a Tek rifle, your only real option is to fight titans. Compound bows and their blueprints drop on almost every map, including the Island, Valguero, Aberration, Scorched Earth, Ragnarok, Lost Colony and Astraeus. You can find them in most high tier supply, cave and even underwater drops. For high quality compound bows, focus on red drops, caves and deep sea crates, since those give the best rolls. Pump action shotguns are also widely available across most maps, including the Island, Valguero, Aberration, Scorched Earth, Ragnarok, Lost Colony and Astraeus. They drop from overworld, cave and underwater beacons. If you're looking for strong shotguns, farm red drops, cave and deep sea crates, as these have the highest chance for dropping a high quality shotgun. The fabricated sniper rifle follows the same pattern as the pump action shotgun and can be found across most maps. They drop from supply drops, caves and underwater beacons. For the best snipers, stick to red drops and cave loot, with underwater crates being another strong option. Flamethrowers are more limited and mainly found on Scorched Earth and Astraeus. You can get them from desert beacons, cave drops and boss fights. If you want good ones, focus on purple, yellow and desert drops, as well as mini bosses. Swords are heavily tied to caves across multiple maps like the Island, Aberration, Ragnarok, Scorched Earth, Extinction and Lost Colony. They can also appear in deep sea crates and some higher tier beacons. Your best method is cave loot, especially red cave beacons, since those consistently give strong swords. Fabricated crossbows are very limited and can only be found on Lost Colony along with dragon hordes. If you're looking for one, focus on Lost Colony, red drops and cave beacons, as those are your main sources. Crossbows are honestly extremely common and drop across almost every map. You can get them from basic drops, caves and underwater crates. For better quality, focus on high tier drops and caves, since low tier drops won't give good stats. The Longneck Rifle is available on most maps, including the Island, Aberration, Scorched Earth, Ragnarok, Lost Colony and Astraeus. They drop from supply crates, caves and underwater beacons. If you want high damage longnecks, farm red drops, caves and deep sea crates. Harpoons are found across several maps like the Island, Aberration, Scorched Earth and Astraeus. They drop from supply drops, caves and some underwater crates. For strong versions, focus on caves. Pickaxes are very common and can be found across all maps. They drop from supply crates and caves. If you want better tools, focus on caves, since they give much higher quality than normal beacons. Hatchets pretty much follow the same patterns as pickaxes and can be found across all maps. The wooden club is more niche and mainly found on maps like the Island, Scorched Earth, Lost Colony and the Center. They drop from low tier supply drops and caves with some bosses as well. You don't need to farm these specifically, but if you want better ones, cave drops are still your best bet. On a side note, as of I'm editing this, I'm at about 10k subs. If you could sub to help me reaching my goal of 20k subs by the end of the year, I would greatly appreciate it. When it comes to saddles, most of them follow a similar pattern. They drop across multiple maps and loot tiers, but ascendant quality saddles are heavily tied to high tier crates and specific maps. In general, your best sources will always be red drops, cave drops and deep sea crates. Rack saddles are one of the most important items for bossing, for example, and luckily they're widely available across most maps. You can find them on the Island in purple, yellow and red drops, plus in the swamp cave and in deep sea crates. On Valguero you can find them in purple and red drops. The Center has them only in red drops. On Scorched Earth you can find them in desert and treasure chests. Ragnarok only got them in desert crates, and Extinction and Astraeus have them in cave drops. If you're targeting high quality rack saddles, your best options are deep sea crates on the Island, red cave drops on the Island and Extinction, and desert crates on Ragnarok and Scorched Earth. And honestly, after I saw it in my tool, I think I will go for fairies now, because fairy cells have one of the largest drop pools in the entire game, meaning they're easy to find and it is easy to get high quality ones. They drop on all maps, and if you focus on red drops, caves and underwater crates, you can get high quality ones super easy. Stegos and Trikes follow a very similar pattern and are commonly found in the island caves and underwater crates. On Extinction and Ragnarok, they can be found super easy in caves, and Scorched Earth gives them in treasure chests. They are easier to obtain than Rex and Fairy cells, but high quality armor versions still require farming higher tiers. Best farming methods are island caves like the swamp and the ice cave, and deep sea crates. On Extinction, you can find them in cave drops. Deinonychus Saddles are very straightforward. They can only be found on Valguero and drop from purple, yellow and red beacons. Gasbag, Snow Owl and Managarmr saddles. These are primarily tied to Extinction. Their main sources are cave drops, starting from blue ones going to red ones, and they drop on Titans, especially on all King Titan variants. For high quality blueprints, farm Extinction cave drops and kill the Titans. Water creatures like Basis, Tuso, Dunkleos, and so on, these are super heavily tied to underwater loot pools. Best maps for these are the Island, the Center and Astreas, and you can find it in deep sea crates and high quality drops like red and yellow surface beacons. Now some general stuff. Across all saddles, my data shows a very clear pattern. If you loot low tier drops, it is easier to obtain blueprints, but they got bad stats. If you're looting high tier drops, usually there are less blueprints, but there are significantly better quality ones. If your goal is Ascendant saddles, prioritize deep sea crates, especially on the island, because it has the smallest drop pool. Red cave drops on basically all maps, and desert crates on Ragnarok and Scorched Earth. If I've forgotten to mention an item or a saddle, feel free to check my website. Just use the link in the video description or the QR code on screen and use the tool yourself. I hope you liked this video, and I'm thrilled to read if this video has helped you. Hit the like button, leave a comment below for the algorithm and consider subbing to the channel. Alright, Frodo.